Alright, hello everyone, it's Silver Kyle, and today I'm going to be going over my PlayStation 1 collection, which is unfortunately this small pile right here. The problem is that I always sold my games to get new games. So, I probably only had about 15 PlayStation 1 games, but I still would have much preferred to have those 15 games, my original games, here with me. But I sold those to get some N64 games. N64 went to PlayStation 2. PlayStation 2 went to Xbox Original. Xbox Original went to Xbox 360. And finally there I said, no, that's it. I'm keeping my games. And look what happens when I keep my games. That's all Xbox 360 all the way to there. That's, you get a row and a half of a lot of games. So I wish I would have done that instead. But I sold them, and these few games that I have here, this small little collection, I picked up in the past 7 years. 2011 is when I started buying these again. And I've been picking up so many other games that I haven't picked up a lot. So this is my motivation to kind of try starting to collect for the PlayStation 1 again. PlayStation 1 was my real first console. I had an NES that I shared with my brother, and we had 3 games on it. We played the hell out of them. But then PlayStation was my first console, where I had games to myself. And really, this is where I became a gamer. Without the PlayStation 1, I wouldn't be as much of a gamer as I am today, I don't think. I don't think I'd be have as many games. I don't think I'd be doing this on YouTube. This really is the reason why I'm a gamer. And I was able to convince my mother and my father to get a PlayStation by showing them this game that I played at a friend's house. It is called Croc Legend of the Gobos. I believe it's Gobos. That's what I'm going with at the moment. And I was like, look how adorable this is. It's a crocodile saving his little friends that are Gobos. And my mother was like, yep, that's cute enough. That seems not as violent as like shooting games and stuff. She was okay with me getting this. I was a kid that was not allowed to watch South Park. So we watched The Simpsons, but that was a stretch. We had to like kind of beg to be able to watch The Simpsons. I was able to watch probably King of the Hill, but I never wanted to watch King of the Hill. But yeah, Croc, Legend of the Gobos, this is how I got into the gaming, really. And I played this numerous times, beat it numerous times. It's a relatively short game, if I remember correctly. And I had a demo disc that had Final Fantasy VII, what else did it have? Final Fantasy VII, Crash Bandicoot, oh man, Bushido Blade, Tekken 2, Twisted Metal. No, not Twisted Metal. There's a few games. There's about 10 games or something like that. And I played the heck out of those. So Croc Legend of the Gobos was my first introduction to a 3D platformer. And I loved it. I loved the idea. I was like, Isaiah, how are they making these games? Like, I can walk around. It's not just like a line. It was blowing my mind at the time. And I loved it. Was a big fan of Crash Bandicoot as well, and I had the first Crash Bandicoot, but I no longer own it because I sold it. And this is not my original copy either. I had to rebuy this. Next up is Croc 2. Never played this one as a kid. Like I said, I beat the first one numerous times, but I never played this one, and I would love to go back and try it out because it honestly just seems like a continuation of the first one. I'm actually kind of getting a little bit of an itch to play the first and second one, because I wouldn't want to jump into the second one. I want to go back and beat the first one, considering it took me, I feel like it was 5 hours ish. I mean, this is like years ago. This is like 20 years ago. I'm talking here, maybe 18. Maybe the last time I played Croc would have been when I was like 18 years ago. Next up, Final Fantasy Anthology. I really only picked this game up because it came up with another game, and the price was good. It was basically 2 games for $20 each on eBay, and I had to pick this up mainly for Final Fantasy V. Final Fantasy VI is there as well, but I'd rather play the SNES game instead of this one because I think there's a lot of loading times. But I still wouldn't mind trying it out because I think there's extra cutscenes or something that they redid in Final Fantasy VI. But yeah, it's mainly to play 5. At the time, I think that was the only way to play it. It might have been on the Virtual Console. I can't remember. I honestly can't remember. But I wanted to have it physical. Even if I would never go play these games on this system, I wanted to have them in physical form. The next game, actually, that's not right. That shouldn't be there. Let's fix this up a little bit. We're going alphabetically. Next game is one of the top 2 games of why I'm okay with doing this video, because I feel if you have these 2 games, you have a decent PlayStation 1 collection. That is Final Fantasy 9. I thought I owned Final Fantasy 8. Like, I mean, I owned Final Fantasy 7, 8, and 9 when I was a kid. But I thought I still owned Final Fantasy 8. Apparently not. Yeah, there's nothing else up there. But this is my favorite Final Fantasy of all time. This is my second favorite game on the PlayStation 1. And the second best RPG on the PlayStation 1. And I loved this. Vivi is the best Final Fantasy character ever. One of the best video game characters of all time. Just his look and his innocence and his character development and his backstory. Everything melded so well together for Vivi. I absolutely loved it. And the setting of having Final Fantasy in this like medieval steampunk world was perfect. I would love for them to make a sequel or another game that's kind of in this era. That would be amazing. It would be amazing. Seeing the black mages running around. It would be so much fun. I would love it if they made. I'm going to leave that to the side because I want to do just, something in a second here. Next up is Final Fantasy, and I have beaten Final Fantasy 9 as well. Next up is Final Fantasy. I rebought this on PlayStation 4, like the PC port that they did. So it's basically like it looks exactly the same as this, but HD. That is what I want from HD remakes. If they could do that for so many games, I would be so happy. They did that to Final Fantasy 7, which I also have on there, and I love it. I would wish that we did that for Final Fantasy 8, but I think there's something that's kind of holding them back possibly with Final Fantasy 8. I can't remember what it was. But I was like, why don't they do it for 8? I would love that. 8's not the best by a lot of people, but that was my first real RPG. I mean, I played the first level for Final Fantasy 7 with my demo disc, but my first real RPG was Final Fantasy 8. Because I played the demo disc and I was like, oh man, that was amazing. So I went to try to get the new, the biggest Final Fantasy at the time. They're like, oh, we're sold out of 7, but Final Fantasy 8's the new one. So I was like, okay, I'll pick that up, and I was hooked. That's why I still think that I like Final Fantasy 8 a lot more than most people do. But anyway, Final Fantasy Tactics. I picked this up with Final Fantasy Anthology, and at the time it was like $20 each, so I could not go wrong with this. And this is totally up my alley. A tactical game set in Final Fantasy. I don't know why I had never played this before. Excuse me. And I don't know why I haven't played it yet. I own it now. Get to it. I think I now need to play Croc, Legend of the Gobos, and Final Fantasy Tactics. But I can't do that because right now, maybe in the new year, because I'm trying to beat all the big 2018 games, or at least play all the big 2018 games. And there's a lot. And I started doing this in September. I had 4 months left of the year. And I was like, you know what? I should do this. Yeah. Next up. In my opinion, the best JRPG game. I haven't played a lot of JRPGs. But for the ones that I have played, this game is amazing. This is why you should own a PlayStation 1. And this, along with Final Fantasy 9, you are set. The Legend of Dragoon. How have we not returned to this setting, to this world? It doesn't make any sense. This would have been amazing on PlayStation 2 if they wanted to continue doing the turn-based with... Because it was a turn-based game, but you pressed buttons to do like combos and things like that. And it worked really well because it changed things up from the regular just, okay, it's turn-based, we're going to set the attack and do something else. I'm still fine with that. Like Final Fantasy 9 has that. Most Final Fantasies have that. It's just turn-based. And I still love them. But this changed it up a little bit. And then the option of turning into Dragoons, so you have this crazy armor, you can do more big moves, and then there's different kinds of combos that you can do. Loved it. And the voices that they had, Harpoon, and I haven't played it in a while. What else is it? How do I only remember Harpoon? it's that's stuck in my mind. And then when I'll start playing it again, then I'll start. I can hear their voices. I can hear Dart's voice. I can hear Rose's voice. I just can't remember what they said. Anyway, fantastic game. And at the time, like this was the year 2000, 18 years ago. Is that a cutscene right there? Yeah, that's a cutscene. It's really hard to see, but it is amazing. There, I tried to see if I could. Yeah, this was Oh man, the graphics still hold up in terms of the cutscenes today. It shows that it's old, but they still look not bad. It's like surprising when I look at that. Like when I played that the first time, I was blown away. I was like, this is what they could do with graphics now. This is insane. Um, and then I absolutely love this. The storyline, the feeling that you're actually in a war and you're kind of going through these places. Like there's one specific time. I'm just gonna try to fix that a little bit. There's one point where you get attacked and you're in this fort. And I was like, that feels real. This is amazing. This is so cool. I love the atmosphere of the game. I love the characters. I love the combat. Just everything about this game begs for an HD remake like Final Fantasy 7 and 9 got on PlayStation 4. But also a prequel, a sequel that has to do with something like... There's so many Final Fantasies. Can we have a Legend of Dragoon game just based in that world? Doesn't have, like a prequel would be cool because you could go back with the characters though. That'd be really cool. I'd love to see what Dar did 5 years prior. I'd love to see like how he met what's his name, the guy that's a fighter there. As if I'm forgetting all these names, I feel horrible right now. I don't even know if it says in here. Also, everything in this is pristine. Like it's gorgeous. Like there's not a crease in this manual. It's perfect. God. I'm gonna have to talk about this another time and just kind of delve into it and talk about how much I love it after I beat it again. Because then I'll feel even more into it. Another game that is arguably needed in your PlayStation 1 collection, and that is Metal Gear Solid. My first Metal Gear was Metal Gear Solid 2, but I have played this game as well. Have not beaten it yet, though. I feel like I really got to do that. I've never beaten a Metal Gear game. I've got close with 2, though. I was pretty close to beating it. And my last 2 games are part of a series, and that is Twisted Metal 1 and Twisted Metal 3. Don't have 2, which was my favorite game of the bunch. But I only played Twisted Metal 1 and 2. We only rented them. We never owned them, so I'm kind of okay with, not have... I do want to, though. I really want to. So that's it. That is my... Oh, where was it? There is my PlayStation 1 collection. Relatively small, but I have the 2 games that you absolutely need. Legend of Dragoon and Final Fantasy 9. If you have these 2 games, you're off to a good start. But I do really want to get many more games for this console. Let me know in the comments below what I'm missing. I'm missing everything, though. I used to have Final Fantasy 7, Final Fantasy 8, Mega Man Legends, Crash Bandicoot 1. I think I had a Jet Moto. What else? I had a few other games, but I can't remember them. I had Croc 1. I had Final Fantasy 9, Legend of Dragoon. That's 8. I had like 7 other games that I can't remember right now. Next one that I would really want to get for it, though, is Harvest Moon Back to Nature, just because that is totally me. Like that is my kind of jam. I would also like to get the Mega Man Legends. I beat Mega Man Legends 1 because I owned it, and I rented Mega Man Legends 2 so many times, but I could never get further than one point because there was a scratch on the disc, and I couldn't get any further. It was a rented game, and we brought it back, and we said, oh, there's a scratch on the disc, and I think they tried to fix it, but then it didn't work. That was unfortunate. So there you have it, my collection of PlayStation 1 games. It's embarrassing to show that I only have this few games, but in my next collections that I'm going to be doing very shortly are going to have a lot more games than this. So thank you all for watching. You've been Bearded In. Beardage.